Welcome to World of Coins, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of the United States Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1966, a coin that may appear ordinary at first glance but holds a story that can captivate any coin collector. The 1966 Lincoln penny is part of the iconic Lincoln cent series, a design that has graced American coinage since 1909, celebrating the legacy of one of the nation's most revered presidents, Abraham Lincoln. This coin, made entirely from a copper composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, reflects a time in history when pennies carried not only monetary value but also a piece of the nation's history in their small, unassuming design. Collectors often overlook the 1966 penny because it was a common year for circulation, but what makes it truly intriguing are its rarities and errors. One of the most sought-after varieties from this year is the double die obverse error, where the inscriptions or Lincoln's profile appear doubled due to a minting anomaly. While these errors may be subtle to the untrained eye, they can drastically increase the value of a coin, making it a gem for careful collectors. Another fascinating aspect is the off-center strikes, a minting mistake where the coin's design is not perfectly aligned, creating a unique and unmistakable error that collectors actively seek. For coin enthusiasts, understanding the mint marks of 1966 is crucial. In 1966, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and for the first time in years, the production was massive due to the high demand for coins. The coins from Philadelphia didn't carry a mint mark, which means identifying rarities requires careful inspection of the coin's details. Slight variations in the coin's design, such as doubling, die cracks, or planchet imperfections, can dramatically affect its market value. Collectors are especially drawn to coins with flawless surfaces, sharp details, and striking anomalies that tell the story of their production history. One particularly rare and exciting find from 1966 is the Lincoln Memorial cent with a weak strike. Some of these coins exhibit lighter impressions of Lincoln's image, where the details appear softer than usual. While this may seem like a flaw, it actually adds to the coin's allure among collectors who appreciate the subtleties of minting variations. Another interesting feature is the wide AM in America, a variation seen in certain 1966 pennies that adds uniqueness and collectible value. If you are a collector or someone who loves the thrill of finding coins with unusual characteristics, the 1966 Lincoln cent offers several avenues for exploration. Searching for error coins in circulation can be a rewarding experience, as many of these coins were never intended to be rare. Over the decades, these pennies have survived in pocket change, coin jars, and drawers, waiting for a keen eye to spot their unique features. The joy of discovering a coin that is slightly off-center, has a double die, or shows a subtle design variation is a moment every collector treasures. The 1966 penny also tells a story about the post-war American economy. During the 1960s, the demand for coins increased significantly due to rising commerce and population growth. This surge led the U.S. Mint to produce large quantities of pennies while experimenting with die designs and striking methods. These factors inadvertently created varieties and errors that today's collectors value highly. From a historical perspective, holding a 1966 penny connects you to a pivotal era in American history, bridging the gap between the mid-20th century economic boom and the artistry of coin design. For those who love to study coins closely, examining a 1966 Lincoln cent under magnification reveals fascinating details. The lines of Lincoln's bust, the lettering of "In God We Trust," and the subtle textures of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse all offer insight into the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. Even a small scratch or mark can tell a story of the coin's journey through circulation, giving it character beyond its monetary value. Collectors often compare coins from this era with those from surrounding years, noting the differences in strike quality, metal composition, and error frequency. The 1966 penny, while common in general circulation, has hidden rarities that reward patience, knowledge, and a careful eye. Coins with preserved luster, minimal wear, and any recognized error from this year are especially desirable, as they combine historical significance with the excitement of rarity. If you happen to come across a 1966 Lincoln cent that appears unusual, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks, or unique minting anomalies. Each variation tells a story of the minting process and adds to the narrative of American coin history. These coins are not just currency, they are miniature artifacts of a specific time, capturing the spirit and economy of the 1960s in their tiny copper form. In conclusion, the 1966 Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like a simple, everyday coin, but it holds hidden treasures for those who know where to look. Its potential for errors, subtle variations, and historical significance make it a coin worth studying, collecting, and cherishing. If you have one in your collection, take a closer look. You may be holding a small piece of history that is rarer and more valuable than you realize. For collectors, enthusiasts, and history lovers alike, the story behind this penny is as important as its face value, providing insight into American coinage and the art of minting. The real market price and auction value for a 1966 Lincoln 1-cent penny in excellent condition with recognized errors or rarities can reach $10,000 in words, making it a remarkable find for any coin collector. Don't forget to comment about your own coins so the channel can provide information about them. Subscribe and comment to stay updated, and like this video if you enjoyed learning about this extraordinary penny. Top 2. We are diving deep into the fascinating story of the United States Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1967, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but for collectors and coin enthusiasts, it holds secrets and surprises that make it truly captivating. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has become one of the most recognized coins in the world, and the 1967 version continues this proud tradition with subtle but intriguing variations that every collector should know about. This coin is made from a copper composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a standard that gives it its rich reddish-brown color and a tangible sense of history in the palm of your hand. At first glance, the 1967 penny may seem common. Millions were produced by the Philadelphia and Denver mints, yet it is the errors and rarities that make certain coins from this year highly sought after. Among the most interesting features for collectors is the double die obverse error, where the inscriptions or Lincoln's profile appear slightly doubled. This is caused by a misalignment during the striking process, and although it may appear subtle, it drastically increases the coin's rarity and value. Another intriguing variation is the off-center strike, a misprint where the design isn't perfectly aligned with the coin's edges, creating an unusual and unmistakable collector's item. The mint marks for 1967 play a critical role in identifying rarities. Coins from the Denver Mint carry a D mark, while those from Philadelphia do not have any mark at all. Identifying rare errors among these large mintage coins requires a keen eye and careful inspection. Collectors are especially drawn to coins that feature die cracks, doubled lettering, or unique planchet imperfections, as these traits make the coin stand out from the millions of pennies that circulated during the year. One particularly rare and fascinating find from 1967 is the weak strike Lincoln cent, where Lincoln's image appears lighter and less defined than on a standard coin. These weak strikes were unintentional but are highly prized among numismatists because they are unusual and reveal the intricacies of the minting process. Another collectible variation is the wide AM in America, a subtle but recognizable difference that adds character and value to certain coins from this year. Even slight variations in the font or spacing of the lettering can transform a common penny into a highly desirable collector's piece. Collectors love the thrill of discovering coins with errors or unique features. Searching through pocket change, coin jars, and circulation pennies from 1967 can be surprisingly rewarding. Many of these coins were never intended to be rare, yet decades of circulation, handling, and minting quirks have made them collectible treasures. An off-center strike, a double die, or an unusual planchet anomaly is not just a mistake, it is a story of how the coin was made, an accidental artifact of history that connects us to the era of its creation. The 1967 Lincoln penny also offers insight into the broader historical context. During the mid-1960s, the United States was experiencing significant economic growth, and the demand for coins increased dramatically. The U.S. Mint produced enormous quantities of pennies, but with the pressure of mass production came the occasional minting error. These mistakes, once overlooked, have become prized collectibles today. For historians and collectors alike, holding a 1967 penny is holding a tangible piece of the nation's mid-20th century economy and minting craftsmanship. For enthusiasts who enjoy examining coins closely, the 1967 Lincoln cent is full of fascinating details. Lincoln's bust, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse all offer subtle variations to study. Even the tiniest die crack or scratch adds to the narrative of the coin's journey through circulation. Each mark and imperfection gives character, telling the story of a coin that has passed through countless hands over decades. Comparing the 1967 penny to those of surrounding years is another way collectors find interest. Differences in strike quality, metal composition, and the frequency of errors make the 1967 penny stand out for those who study coins carefully. Coins that have preserved their original luster, feature unusual minting characteristics, or show recognized errors are particularly prized. They provide a window into the history of American coinage and the artistry of the mint that if you are a collector or a coin lover, examining a 1967 Lincoln penny can be an exciting adventure. Look closely for double dies, off-center strikes, weak strikes, die cracks, and planchet anomalies. Each variation adds a unique layer to the coin story. Even the common pennies can surprise you if you know what to look for, making the 1967 Lincoln cent an endlessly intriguing piece to study, collect, and treasure. In conclusion, the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more than just a small piece of copper in your pocket. Its potential for errors, subtle variations, and historical significance make it a captivating coin for collectors of all levels. Whether you are searching for a double die, a weak strike, or a rare die variation, this coin offers endless fascination and rewards careful observation. Its story connects us to an era of American history when every penny carried a bit of craftsmanship and character that continues to intrigue collectors today. The real market price and auction value for a 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny with rare errors or exceptional quality can reach $12,000 in words, making it a prized addition to any collection. Comment about your own coins so the channel can provide information about them, subscribe and comment to stay updated, and like this video if you enjoyed learning about this extraordinary penny. Top 3. We are exploring the intriguing story of the United States Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1976, a coin that holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and coin lovers alike. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. By 1976, the Lincoln cent had already seen decades of circulation, design changes, and minting innovations. This particular year is notable not just because it was the nation's bicentennial year, but also because it produced coins with interesting varieties and errors that are highly prized by collectors today. The 1976 penny is made from a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown color and a sense of historical weight in your hand. At first glance, a 1976 penny may seem ordinary, especially given the large numbers minted by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, for collectors, the real excitement lies in the rarities and errors that can transform an everyday coin into a valuable treasure. One of the most sought-after variations from this year is the double die obverse error, where Lincoln's portrait or the lettering appears double due to a misalignment during the striking process. These double dies are subtle but extremely rewarding to spot, as they significantly increase the coin's value. Another fascinating variation is the off-center strike, a minting mishap where the design is shifted away from the coin center, creating an unmistakable error that collectors actively seek out. Mint marks play a critical role in identifying these rarities. In 1976, pennies were produced in Philadelphia, without a mint mark, and in Denver, with a D mint mark. Because millions were minted, spotting a rare error requires a careful and trained eye. Coins exhibiting die cracks, doubled lettering, repunched mint marks, or unique planchet flaws are particularly prized because they showcase the accidental creativity of the minting process. Even a slight variation in the shape of letters or spacing can make a coin a collector's dream. One especially intriguing find for 1976 pennies is the weak strike variety, where Lincoln's image is less pronounced than on standard coins. While this might appear to be a flaw, collectors value these weak strikes for their uniqueness and the story they tell about the minting process. Another notable collectible feature is the broad AM in America seen on certain 1976 coins, which subtly distinguishes them from others minted in the same year. Even minor details like this can turn an otherwise ordinary penny into a rare find that commands attention in auctions and private collections. The 1976 Lincoln penny also carries historical significance. Being the nation's bicentennial year, American coins in 1976 represented a period of national pride and reflection. During this time, the U.S. Mint produced large numbers of coins to meet demand, which inadvertently created some of the errors and varieties that are now so highly collectible. Every 1976 penny in circulation carries a story of its creation, survival, and passage through countless hands, making it a miniature artifact of American history. Collectors often enjoy examining these coins under magnification. The subtle lines of Lincoln's bust, the fine lettering of "In God We Trust," and the reverse design all hold small variations that can make a significant difference in value. Even slight scratches or marks add to a coin's narrative, telling the story of its journey through decades of commerce and daily life. For collectors, the thrill of spotting a minor minting anomaly can be as rewarding as discovering a rare historical coin. For enthusiasts comparing 1976 pennies to those of other years, differences in strike quality, metal composition, and the frequency of errors can make this year especially intriguing. Coins that maintain original luster, show unusual minting characteristics, or feature recognized errors are especially desirable. They represent not just monetary value but also a connection to the artistry and history of American coinage. Finding a rare error or an unusual variety can be both exciting and educational, revealing the fascinating complexities of coin production in the 1970s. If you are a collector or a coin lover, take a moment to examine any 1976 Lincoln penny you might have. Look for double dies, off-center strikes, weak strikes, die cracks, or planchet anomalies. Each variation tells a story, adds character, and can make your coin stand out in a collection. Even coins that appear ordinary at first glance can hold surprises that reward a careful eye, turning a simple penny into a prized artifact. In conclusion, the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny is much more than a small piece of copper. Its potential for errors, subtle variations, and historical significance make it an endlessly fascinating coin for collectors of all levels. Whether you are hunting for a double die, a weak strike, or an off-center error, the 1976 penny offers both excitement and insight into American history and the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. Holding one of these coins is holding a tiny piece of the nation's story, a connection to a remarkable era in the 20th century. The real market price and auction value for a 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny with recognized errors or in exceptional condition can reach $15,000 in words, making it a valuable addition to any collection. Comment about your own coins so the channel can provide information about them, subscribe and comment to stay updated, and like this video if you enjoyed learning about this extraordinary penny. Top 4. We are exploring one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history, the United States Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1979. While at first glance it might seem like just another penny from the late 20th century, this coin carries secrets and details that make it truly special for collectors. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, has long been admired for its iconic design, durability, and historical significance. The 1979 penny continues this tradition, featuring the classic Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, its rich color and familiar texture immediately connect collectors to decades of American history. While millions of 1979 pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, the real excitement lies in the rarities and errors that make certain coins highly collectible. Among the most notable is the double die obverse error, where Lincoln's bust or the inscriptions appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. These subtle but visually striking errors can dramatically increase a coin's value, making them prized finds for collectors who know what to look for. Another intriguing variety is the off-center strike, a minting anomaly in which the design does not align with the coin's edge. Though unintentional, these coins become instantly recognizable and highly desirable. The mint marks of 1979 pennies are crucial for identifying rarities. Coins from the Denver Mint carry a D mint mark, while Philadelphia coins do not carry a mint mark. With such high mintage numbers, identifying rarities requires careful inspection of subtle details. Collectors focus on die cracks, doubled lettering, weak strikes, and planchet imperfections, as these minor variations can make a coin uniquely valuable. Even the smallest variation, like a slightly broader AM in America or a minor doubling in Liberty, can turn an ordinary penny into a rare collector's piece. The 1979 penny also provides a glimpse into the U.S. Mint's production during a period of high economic activity. Large quantities of pennies were needed to support daily commerce, and the increased production sometimes led to errors and unusual strikes. These mistakes are now celebrated as collectible treasures. Coins that survived in uncirculated condition, with minimal wear and a preserved luster, are especially prized, as they maintain the crisp details of Lincoln's portrait and the lettering of the Lincoln Memorial. One particularly interesting variation for 1979 pennies is the weak strike, where Lincoln's profile appears less defined than usual. These coins provide collectors with insight into the minting process, as subtle differences in die pressure and planchet quality can create these rare imperfections. Other sought-after varieties include coins with minor planchet flaws or repunched mint marks, which make them stand out in a collection. The thrill of discovering such a coin in circulation or among loose pennies cannot be overstated. It's a combination of luck, knowledge, and careful observation. For those who enjoy the details of coin design, the 1979 Lincoln penny offers a wealth of information. Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse all hold subtle details that vary from coin to coin. Even slight imperfections, such as scratches or die cracks, contribute to a coin's story, reflecting its journey through time and circulation. Collectors value these variations because each coin becomes a unique artifact with its own history. Comparing the 1979 penny to those of adjacent years reveals interesting patterns in strike quality, minting precision, and error frequency. Coins that display unusual characteristics, maintain original mint luster, or feature recognized errors are particularly desirable, combining historical significance with aesthetic appeal. Finding a rare variation in a 1979 penny can be an exciting experience for both novice and experienced collectors, turning an ordinary coin into a highlight of a collection. That if you happen to have a 1979 Lincoln penny, take a close look. Examine it for doubled dies, off-center strikes, weak strikes, die cracks, or unusual planchet flaws. Each variation tells a story about the minting process, and discovering a rare coin can be an immensely rewarding experience. Even coins that seem ordinary at first glance may hide surprises for those willing to study them carefully, making the 1979 penny an endlessly intriguing piece for collectors. In conclusion, the 1979 Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just a small piece of copper. Its potential for errors, subtle variations, and historical significance make it a fascinating coin for collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Whether you are hunting for double dies, weak strikes, off-center errors, or other rare varieties, the 1979 penny offers both excitement and insight into the artistry and challenges of coin production in the late 20th century. Holding one of these pennies is like holding a tiny piece of American history, a connection to a moment in time that continues to intrigue collectors around the world. The real market price and auction value for a 1979 Lincoln 1-cent penny with recognized errors or exceptional quality can reach $13,000 in words, making it a valuable addition to any collection. Comment about your own coins so the channel can provide information about them. Subscribe and comment to stay updated, and like this video if you enjoyed learning about this remarkable penny. Top 5. We are uncovering the fascinating story behind the United States Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1982, a coin that might appear ordinary at first glance, but for collectors, it holds a world of intrigue and value. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. By 1982, the Lincoln cent had already endured decades of circulation and design evolution, yet this year introduced unique characteristics and rarities that make it highly prized among numismatists. The 1982 penny is particularly notable because it was a transitional year. Some coins were struck in the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc composition, while others were produced in a new, mostly zinc composition with only a thin copper plating. This variation alone makes the 1982 penny fascinating for collectors who love subtle differences that can greatly impact a coin's value. Despite millions of pennies minted in Philadelphia and Denver, certain 1982 Lincoln cents are highly collectible due to errors and rarities. Among the most sought-after variations is the double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile or the lettering appears slightly doubled, an effect caused by a misalignment during the minting process. These subtle but visually distinct errors can significantly increase a coin's value. Another intriguing variation is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned on the coin, creating a rare and immediately recognizable collectible. Coins with weak strikes, die cracks, or minor planchet flaws from 1982 are also highly prized because they are accidental anomalies that reveal the intricacies of the minting process. The mint marks are important for collectors. Coins from the Denver Mint carry a D mark, while Philadelphia coins do not carry any mint mark. With such a high production volume, identifying rarities requires careful inspection. Collectors focus on coins that exhibit doubled lettering, broad lettering, or repunched mint marks, as these minor variations can transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a highly desirable collectible. The 1982 penny also includes both copper and zinc varieties, adding another layer of complexity for collectors. Understanding the composition of your coin can make a huge difference in its value, as copper coins tend to be more valuable due to the scarcity and higher intrinsic metal content. One particularly interesting variation for 1982 pennies is the weak strike Lincoln cent, where the image appears less defined than usual. While this may appear as a flaw, collectors prize these coins because they are uncommon and reveal the nuances of minting techniques from that era. Another rare feature is the broad AM in America, a subtle difference that distinguishes certain coins from standard issues. Even small variations like this can dramatically increase a coin's value at auction and make it a highlight in a collection. The 1982 penny also tells a story about the U.S. Mint and the economy of the time. Rising copper prices forced the mint to experiment with a new composition, resulting in some coins that were slightly different in weight, color, and sound. These subtle differences became important identifiers for collectors. For enthusiasts, examining a 1982 penny closely under magnification can reveal fascinating details, from Lincoln's facial features to the precise lines of the lettering and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Even minor scratches or imperfections can add character, showing the coin's journey through circulation. Collectors often compare 1982 pennies to those of surrounding years to identify interesting patterns in minting quality and error frequency. Coins that preserve their original luster, show unusual minting characteristics, or feature recognized errors are particularly desirable. Finding a rare variety in circulation can be extremely rewarding, as many of these pennies were never intended to be collectible but have become sought after due to their unique features. Every coin has a story, and for the 1982 Lincoln cent, that story includes both innovation and subtle mistakes that make it exciting for coin lovers. If you have a 1982 Lincoln penny, examine it carefully. Look for double dies, off-center strikes, weak strikes, die cracks, broad lettering, or copper versus zinc composition. Each variation adds a layer to the coin's history, making it more interesting and valuable. Even ordinary-looking coins can hide surprises for collectors who pay attention to the details. The 1982 penny is a perfect example of how a single year of production can create coins with fascinating stories and enduring appeal. In conclusion, the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more than just a small piece of copper or zinc. Its potential for errors, subtle variations, and historical significance make it a must-have for collectors and coin enthusiasts. Whether you are hunting for a double die, an off-center strike, a weak strike, or simply exploring the copper versus zinc varieties, the 1982 penny offers excitement, history, and value in a small, unassuming package. Holding one is like holding a tiny piece of American history, connecting collectors to a pivotal moment in the nation's numismatic journey. the real market price and auction value for a 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny with recognized errors, unusual features, or in exceptional condition can reach $14,000 in words, making it a remarkable find for collectors. Comment about your own coins so the channel can provide information about them, subscribe and comment to stay updated, and like this video if you enjoyed learning about this extraordinary penny.